Meeting called to order. It is now 7 o'clock. Public portion of the meeting begins. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the rights of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Business Administrator Board Secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having this date, time, place, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, communicated to the Herald News, the record and filed with the clerk of the Borough of Hawthorne. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carr.
Here.
Mr. Claville.
Here.
Mr. Doyle.
Here.
Ms. Erentraut.
Here.
Mrs. Goff.
Here.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson.
Here.
Mr. Palouse.
Here.
Mrs. Vega.
Here.
Mrs. Dotaro.
Here. All rise for flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Meeting regulations. During each regular meeting, 2 opportunities are provided for the citizens to ask questions and make comments. During the first opportunity, early on the agenda, the meeting is open to the public for the purpose of addressing items listed for approval on this agenda only. The second opportunity occurs just prior to the adjournment, when citizens may address any subject matter that is pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the school district. Persons wishing to speak must, upon being recognized, rise, state their name, address, and subject matter. Comments and questions shall be addressed to the board president or the presiding officer and shall be limited to 5 minutes per person. The board may or may not respond to issues by members of the public at the time they are raised, but will provide a response if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Please note that the board will not respond to comments regarding students or board employees in light of the privacy rights held by those individuals. Moreover, the board discourages comments about such individuals and will not be responsible for such comments. Members of the public who choose to speak during this public session should carefully consider their comments, since they could be held personally liable for any statements they make. Finally, please note that in accordance with district policy, the board will not officially comment or respond to any matter mentioned unless it can confirm that the matter has first been brought to the attention of the appropriate school personnel in an attempt to resolve this issue. Public be heard. Agenda items only. All right. Approval of the minutes. December 10th, 2024 public and private meeting and January 7th, 2025 reorganization meeting. Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cleo, second by Mrs. Goff. And now we ask Mr. Swisher of Supley Clooney. Oh, roll call first, I'm sorry.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Claville.
Yes.
Mr. Doyle.
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut.
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson.
Yes.
Ms. Palouse.
Yes.
Mr. Palouse, sorry. Mrs. Vega.
Yes.
Mr. Dotaro.
Yes. All right, now that I'm not rushing, presentation by Mr. Swisher of Supley Clooney and Company for the 23-24 audit presentation.
Good evening. As always, tonight you have 2 reports in front of you. The small report is the auditor's management report. This report is required by the State Department of Education. If during our audit we have any findings or recommendations that we note that we feel need to be brought to your attention, we'll have findings and recommendations in the report. This past year we did have 4 findings and recommendations. I'll just go through all 4. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Mr. Swisher, excuse me a second. So board members, you guys had it in your packet. We didn't get the hard copies. In the past, we talked about just giving the electronic copy, so it was in the packet. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
There's a paper copy here from you.
Yeah, if anybody needs it, we have a couple here. But
Okay, the first finding is that all reconciling items on the bank reconciliation be cleared in a timely manner. You guys have bank reconciliations every month for all your accounts. In those accounts, there is money due back and forth between the funds for more than one period. You should really clear those funds up each period. You shouldn't have those lasting more than one period. Second recommendation deals with your grants. It reads that the district reconcile over on the district's accounting record for federal grant expenditures what was drawn down for reimbursement on the State of New Jersey Department of Education Office of Grant Management e-wage system. You have several federal grants. As you spend the money, you need to draw the money down from the State of New Jersey. There should be a reconciliation as to what is being spent and what has been drawn down by the e-wage. There was not one available for the audit. The third recommendation deals with your ASSA. That's your application for state school aid. We noted that there were some issues with it, and the recommendation reads that students report on the ASSA agree to district work papers and be properly classified. When you prepare your ASSA, you have what's called work papers to support the numbers that go onto the actual document. We noticed some errors with those, and then in addition to that, when we sampled our testing, there's a few low-income students where we were not provided adequate documentation that supported their classification. And the last recommendation deals with your transportation, your DRTRS. This, much like your ASSA, you report all your transportation to students who's on roll as of October 15th. There was a couple of students for non-public, which we did not have a form, the B6T form. That kind of supports that there are non-public students that we're transporting. Some of those were not available for audit. So those are the four findings recommendations we have. Any specific questions on those?
Anything that comes to mind that's unusual or unorthodox as far as what you've seen?
No, I mean, these comments, these findings recommendations, I've seen other districts. I've had these. I just had a couple of these at the meeting I had the other night. So you never want to have a finding recommendation, but these are kind of standard ones that we do note, when we're doing our audits.
Thank you.
The second report tonight is your auditor's annual comprehensive financial report. Those are your financial statements. Janine gives us her records and the computer runs, and we assemble the financial statements. Then we apply our auditing procedures. When we're done with our audit, we notice any issues. We may have a modified opinion. This past year, we did not have a modified opinion. We had an unmodified opinion. That means that the records that Janine gave us, we feel are fairly stated. It's the best opinion you can get. It's a clean opinion. It's what you're striving for, and the district did receive that. So kudos to the business office. And the last topic I want to talk about is the fiscal health of the district. Once again, you're fiscally sound. Your surplus went down slightly, but overall fiscally sound. Any other specific questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Any recommendations you made last year, were they?
There was
this
one.
year?
There was one recommendation on the grants that was a repeat from the prior year.
Okay, so that's the only.
That was the only recommendation that was a repeat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Correspondence? Start off with student council representative reports with Mr. Goff.
Good evening all. I hope you're all doing well. Without further ado, I'll begin this month's report. Physicals for the spring season are due February 19th. We would like to thank Detective Vega for generously donating pizza to the basketball team, the boys basketball team. Congratulations to the boys basketball team for adding on to their winning streak. Tonight they beat Pompton Lakes to extend this streak to 3 wins in a row. Tomorrow our wrestling team hosts Pompton Lakes at the high school. For school ongoings, tomorrow the high school is hosting the Students versus Teachers Pep Rally event. January 15th is the 8th grade Parent Guardian Program of Study Night at 6:30 p.m. January 16th is the Guidance Department's FAFSA night. This started things that have passed. January 16th, 17th, 21, and 22, the end of Martin Period 2 assessments take place. Yesterday, schools were closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. January 24th is the last day of Martin Period 2. January 27th is the first day of Martin Period 3. January 27th through February 14th is the class of 2026 scheduling meetings. And then the January 31st is the Martin Period 2 report cards posted in real time at 9 o'clock in the morning. January 31st, class of 2026 trivia night is at 7 p.m. And then course selection for next year will occur as follows. Rising seniors, January 27th, February 13th. Rising freshmen, February 18th to February 21st. Rising juniors, February 24th to March 7th. Rising sophomore, class of 2028, is March 10th to March 21st. Also, yearbook senior ad spots are open until January 31st. For the library, our Library Media Center has started the new year with many in-library and cross-curriculum activities that include Muslim American Heritage Month, Chinese New Year, the Hindu Festival of Makar Sankranti, National Human Trafficking Prevention and Awareness Month, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and News Literacy Week. For each of these, the library offers informational posters, book displays, morning announcements, instructional materials, and social media postings. Also this month, our high school library media specialist, Ms. Geronimo, is working with LMS Media Center Specialist, Ms. Senatuli, to present an information literacy lesson on news bias to 6th graders. For clubs, the HHS Spanish Club hosted its annual Man 25 tournament fundraiser. Congratulations to junior Sebastian Gill, Hawthorne High School's new Holiday Man tournament champion. Last year, Sebastian finished in 2nd place to reigning champion Anthony DeLallo in a close championship matchup. This year, Sebastian skillfully battled among some of the best man players at HHS to seize the 1st place title. Congratulations to junior Dean Cohen, who finished 2nd overall in the 7-16 finale showdown. The HHS Spanish Club would like to extend its gratitude to everyone that helped for everyone's support and cooperation that made both the Holiday Man Tournament and Club Bake Sale at Dismissal a tremendous success. The class of 2026 is selling raffle tickets for $20 per ticket. The winner will receive a solo stove and 2 Adirondack chairs. Ms. Flanagan stated, even though the class of 2026 Trivia Night tickets have been sold out, you can still support the class by purchasing a raffle ticket. The prize includes a solo stove bonfire 2.0, plus stand bundle and 2 Adirondack chairs, which is valued at $900. The drawing will be held on our Trivia Night on January 31st, but the winner does not need to be present. If you're interested in purchasing a raffle ticket or have any questions, please reach out to hhsfundraiser2026@gmail.com. The Italian Club hosts its annual Carnivale February 28th. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Go. Now we have our LMS Student Council President, Mr. Mackey, with his report.
Good evening, members of the Hawthorne Board of Education. My name is Lucas Matthew, and I am a current 8th grade student here at Lincoln Middle School. In 6th and 7th grade, I was involved in the Student Council, and this year I am serving as the Student Council President. The Student Council hosts Spirit Weeks for the student body. We have recently hosted a candy cane fundraiser, which was very successful, allowing us to raise $250. In addition, during the holiday season, we went to Roosevelt Elementary School to make a craft with the kindergartners. There is much more that I and the rest of the council look to accomplish later this year. As far as athletics, LMS offers 4 sports teams here at LMS: boys and girls soccer, boys and girls basketball, track and field, and wrestling. This year, both the boys and girls soccer teams had a great season. The boys team had an undefeated season, and the girls team had 1 loss, making it a great season. The opening basketball games are Friday this week, and I'm looking forward to a great season playing on the LMS basketball team. Wishing the girls basketball team and LMS wrestling team a great winter season ahead as well. Sign-ups are currently happening for LMS track season this spring with 102 kids currently signed up. LMS offers 16 different clubs. Some of the most popular clubs right now are Student Council, News Team, and Yearbook Club. LMS is also currently hosting advanced classes for 3 core subjects: math, science, and ELA. These advanced classes are open to 8th graders and have been able to challenge the brightest students. However, in 7th grade, if recommended in 6th grade, students are able to take part in pre-algebra, getting a taste of 8th grade math. In 8th grade, if accepted, students can take part in the sidekick program, which will allow them to help mentor and get 4th grade students at all 3 elementary schools to teach them life lessons and get them ready for middle school and a bigger world. Many of my friends and I have enjoyed taking part in this program and are excited to continue. 3 years ago, LMS started having den days. These days happen a couple times a school year and allow for kids to be assigned to classes where there will be 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all working together on the activity that is given, such as scavenger hunts or building activities. This allows for students of all grades to become closer and get some time with classmates older and younger than them. The past activity, we built snowflakes and the tallest towers, all with popsicle sticks, glue, and rubber bands. Our school's enrichment program has also been successful, where many students who get into the program get to take part in many things such as extracurricular classes and Junior Model United Nations. Myself and many students in the program enjoyed taking part in these activities and are excited to continue. As an 8th grader, I'm looking forward to the 8th grade activities ahead, including the Valentine's Dance, Macaluso Dance, Winter Superstars, and a day trip to Black Bear Lake at the end of the year. After being at LMS for these past 3 years, I've realized the amount of things a student can get involved with here and recommend staying as involved as you can, because it's all about what you make of the experience. Thank you.
Welcome. And now we will have our superintendent's report. Dr. Strito.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to, it's always a pleasure having Will here and giving us a report from the high school, but it's an extra added pleasure to have Lucas here with us tonight. So thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing all that great information. One of the things that just stuck out to me, and the board will appreciate this, if you remember many years ago when we had clubs, we talked about clubs here at the middle school. When we started, there were 13 at the high school and 5 at the middle school. I think Lucas just said there's 16 now at the high school, and at the middle school. In the high school, how many? I know we're going to talk about it in a few minutes. You're going to see all the great clubs that are happening at the high school. Just the fact that we went from 5 to 16 clubs at the middle school is fantastic. So really excited. I'll just say I put in 2 tickets for that solo stove, so anything you do, I appreciate it. Okay. So let me get into my report for tonight and a few things to share. And I want to start with School Board Recognition Month. So, and I'm going to read, there's a resolution, sort of a resolution on the agenda that I'd like to read, just because I think it's important to acknowledge the members of this board and members of boards of education throughout the state of New Jersey. So the New Jersey School Boards Association has declared January 2025 to be School Board Recognition Month, a time when all residents can acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members. The Hawthorne Board of Education is one of 581 local school boards in New Jersey, which set policies and oversee operations for public school districts. The Hawthorne Board of Education embraces the goal of a high-quality education for all New Jersey public school students. New Jersey's local school board helped determine the educational goals for approximately 1.4 million children in preschool through kindergarten or pre-kindergarten through grade 12. New Jersey's 5,000 local school board members who receive no remuneration for their services act as advocates for public school students as they work with administrators, teachers, and parents for the betterment of public education. School boards strive to provide the resources necessary to meet the needs of all students, including those with special needs. Boards of education provide accountability to the public, they communicate the needs of the school district to the public, and they convey to school administrators the public's expectations for the schools. New Jersey can take pride in its schools, which rank among the nation's best in key achievement indicators, such as the National Assessment of Educational Progress scores and the preparation for college through advanced placement offerings and SAT assessments. And we're going to talk about AP scores at our high school in a few minutes. Now therefore, be it that the Hawthorne Board of Education does hereby recognize the services of local school board members throughout New Jersey as we join communities statewide in observing January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month. The Hawthorne Board of Education urges all New Jersey citizens to work with their local school boards on school boards of education and public school staffs toward the advancement of our children's education. And I just want to add to that a couple of years ago, Tim Purnell, who was in charge of the New Jersey School Boards Association at the time, he was the executive director. He made this statement, and I couldn't agree more, that no other public official, elected or appointed, has a greater impact on the lives of children than school board members do. And I thought that was such a great quote or statement, because it is true, it is a fact. And it always stood out to me, and it's something I want to just share. I think it's really important to share. And I just want to personally thank our board, the members of this board, for all that they do, all the time that they dedicate to our school district and to the students of this school district. We appreciate all that you do and your contribution to our students and our schools. So thank you to all of you for your time and your commitment to our school district. Okay, with that being said, just a couple things that I'd like to share in regard to the school district tonight. So each year it's required that the superintendent report twice a year on incidents of violence, vandalism, substance abuse, weapons offenses, and HIV to their governing body twice annually. So we have to submit reports from September to December and then from January to June. So I'm going to share numbers from September through December of 2024. And I'll explain, but I'm going to kind of compare, because there's some really positive comparisons from the fall of 2023 to the fall of 2024. So let me give you total numbers first. So for the fall of 2024, we had 19 total incidents, 5 incidents of violence, which occurred in fights, most of them are, majority of them, 0 incidents of vandalism, 0 incidents of weapons, 13 incidents of substance abuse, and 1 confirmed HIV. Now, I share those numbers, and I just want to share the positives of those numbers. Number one, our numbers are down from 25 total incidents to 19, which is a positive. This is from 2023 to 2024. The number of total HIVs is down from 14 in 2023 to 7 in the fall of 2024, half of the number of reported HIVs. And this year we had 1 confirmed HIV, last year we had 4. So again, all decreases, all positive. The number of vaping incidents is down this year from last year. All right, so that's positive. We had 1 incident of a pocket knife or weapon last year, we had 0 this year. So all positives in regard to this report when you compare last fall to this fall. The other thing I do want to share, although our number of incidents of vaping decreased slightly, not a huge decrease, but a slight decrease, we are, and just so the community is aware, we are in the process of acquiring quotes for vape sensors at both the middle school and the high school, and we anticipate that those will be installed this summer at both schools. So we are taking steps to even reduce that number even further in terms of vaping, so we're happy to share that information. All right, so that is our SSDS, the Student Safety Data System report for the fall of 2024. Some other information I'd like to share is just kindergarten registration. So we are at that time of beginning the process to registering students for next year's kindergarten. This is one of the times a year that I wish we still had the Hawthorne Press to get information out to parents. It's a little more difficult. We use social media, we use our website, but it's a little more challenging to get that information out for people who don't have children in school currently. If they have children in school, they'll get the information, but if they don't, it's a little tougher to get that information to our families. But for those who are watching, kindergarten registration will begin on Monday, January 27th. We'll be posting information on our social media platforms, sending it out through our real-time notification system, and hopefully the word will spread throughout our community. As in the past, it is an automated process. That process begins on our district website. You go to the top of our website under the registration tab. You can begin that process electronically through our website. Once that process is completed, the schools will then contact you and provide additional information. We will also have available, beginning on Monday the 27th, registration for our integrated preschool program. And again, that will also be on our district website under the registration tab. So for more information, you can contact the elementary school closest to your home, and they'll provide that information, or you can contact the Board of Education office. The other thing I wanted to share is in regard to our first annual elementary multicultural night. So on February 27th at 6:30 p.m. in the Hawthorne High School gym, we'll be hosting our first multicultural night. This is open to all students, parents, and community members. You don't have to be a part of our school district. You're welcome to attend. We did share a flyer, and again, it's on our social media platforms that we've shared this flyer, as well as through our weekly newsletters. We have a number of families who will be participating and showcasing things like cultural artifacts and displays, traditional food samples. We have some live cultural performances and interactive crafts and games that will all be taking place on February 27th at Hawthorne High School at 6:30 p.m. Anyone who's still interested in being part of that, being a presenter, if you want to call it that, you're welcome to do that. You can contact Dr. Trebona, our Director of Education, at ktrabona@hawthorneschools.org. There is still time to become an active participant. And again, not just you're welcome to attend, but if you want to participate in a way of presenting something or sharing something, you're welcome to do so. Just contact Dr. Trebona. So look forward to that night. Dr. Trebona, do you remember off the top of your head how many families we're currently
We
involved?
currently have 19 families representing 17 different countries.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to ask you in the middle of your
It's all good.
So thank you for that. So again, if you're interested in being part of that, feel free to contact us and we'll connect you with Dr. Trebona. All right, finally, just a couple of athletic updates. I want to congratulate Jeremy Villegas for being selected, one of our high school students, being selected as first team All-State Soccer. He was also named one of the top 10 public school goalies in the state of New Jersey. So congratulations to Jeremy. I know it's been shared on our social media platforms as well. We congratulate Jeremy. It's been a while since we've had a first team All-State athlete. I think Caitlin Salisbury is probably our last one. It's been a while, but congratulations to Jeremy. I also want to congratulate senior athlete Carly Iovino for being recognized and honored as Hawthorne High School's recipient of the National Women in Sports Award. That's every year. There's one of our students is recognized for this award, and this year it was Carly Iovino. Carly received her award at a Rutgers women's basketball game, and I just want to say congratulations to Carly on this achievement. And finally, I just want to share that the Hawthorne High School Athletic Department will honor former Hawthorne High School graduate and recent Olympic wrestler Ethan Ramos on Wednesday, January 29th at the Hawthorne High School wrestling match. So Ethan will be here at our in the high school gym, and there will be a little ceremony to honor Ethan for participating in the recent Olympics as a wrestler. So congratulations to Ethan. Look forward to honoring him on January 29th. 2025. And I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you know, I think it's right before the match, right?
I believe it's right before the match.
5:30.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes. Oh, okay, so last thing, that concludes my report. What I want to do now, and I'm going to ask the people in the audience just to kind of flip around so you can see the screen. So I invited, I had the pleasure of attending a program run by the high school, the program studies presentation for the incoming freshmen last Wednesday. And in speaking to Mr. Pfister and the administrative team, I thought it would be a great opportunity for them to share all the great things happening at Hawthorne High School with the board and for those who are watching here tonight. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Pfister, and we're going to use the screen in the back there, so I apologize to the people in the audience if you could just take a look at the screen, and we'll turn it over to Mr. Pfister and the team. Wherever you're comfortable. Yeah, I would stay close to there because the camera will be on you.
Close to here?
Yeah. I would say, not just necessarily at the podium, but just stand in that area.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. So everyone in the crowd, just to reintroduce myself, my name is Kevin Pfister. I'm the proud principal over at Hawthorne High School. As Will shared in his student report, this is a very exciting time of year. Not only are our students taking their end of marking period assessments, but we're also starting our scheduling process, which indicates that we're exactly halfway through the school year, which is crazy to think. With that being said, as we start to talk to our students about what classes they can take next year, but to take a step back, it's really a good time for us also to reflect and look at Hawthorne High School as a whole. So as a whole, we offer 22 honors level options, 17 current AP classes this year with 18 next year. We will be adding AP Economics. AP Economics actually came from a conversation Dr. Sprito does with our student council every single year. He meets with them in the fall, he gets their feedback, and one of the feedback that they had provided us this year was that AP Economics was a desired course amongst our students, which is a course that we will be offering next school year. And special thanks Dr. Jabona we already got our textbooks and we're ready to rock and roll for next year. Another course going down to our electives, we offer over 70, but another course that we offered last year, and you're seeing kind of a business interest within our students, was the Introduction to Accounting. Our students wanted to have that opportunity to take before they left us. So they can go, whether that be for college or just going into career, to understand the ideas of accounting and finances. And then other areas that we added are most recently as our intermediate advanced dance, music technology, direction and production, so some theater and arts. We still continue to offer our small learning communities to our students, and our senior internship opportunities continue to grow, which we will touch on at the end. So going back to what Dr. Sprito said earlier, we saw, as you can see within our numbers, a large increase of students taking AP courses at our school during the 2024, and that was one of our goals. We firmly believe in accelerating learning and opening up access to our students to ensure that we are equitable in terms of students getting that opportunity to take an AP course, especially in an area that they are passionate about. I would strongly recommend any of our students who are looking to go to a four-year college to at least take one honors or one AP course before they go to college so they can see what that rigor looks like. And I tell you what, our students and our families really took full advantage last year. Not only do we have 141 students participate, which is just about 25% of our students, but we also saw the number of students taking exams, a number of total exams taken at 258. And as a result, our students really just did a tremendous job, nearly doubling the number of AP students scoring a 3 or higher. 3 or higher is typically that cutoff because colleges will most colleges will accept 3 or higher. Some, obviously, they may only accept a 5 or a 4, but 3 indicates that passing rate, which is really the cutoff for College Board. So to see 82 students of our 141, over 50% pass is something that we're very proud of, and huge kudos to not only our students, but our teachers and our supervisors here tonight. This current school year, our numbers are sustaining, which is always good. You don't want that just, that one-hit wonder, essentially. The students are committed to that, and that's something we're committed to too, is continuing to provide those opportunities. And we have 131 students in our AP courses this year, and 196, so down a little bit, but again, sometimes students may not take a particular AP exam because they know maybe the college that they're looking at may not accept it, so sometimes those are some variables that you have to take into account. But nonetheless, we still continue to see our numbers as high as they've been over the past 5 years, and it's something we are certainly proud of. This is a number, our high school graduation rate. You see that nice trend. I don't think we could have found a better graphic, but this is a number that we take a lot of pride in. We want our students to graduate from Hawthorne High School. We want them to stay with us, and having a 95.7% percentage of graduation last year is truly a testament to not only our students and families, but our school counselors, our case managers, our teachers, our coaches, our advisors, the administrative team we have here tonight, because this is truly a testament to all the hard work that they do. High school can be a rocky road, right? There are peaks and valleys, and to see our students and our actual graduation rate continue to increase and stay in those high 90s is certainly what we want, and it's really nice to be able to put that on display, and we hope to continue that moving forward. With a high graduation rate, you typically like to see a large number of our students going off to college. And last year, this particular group, class of 2024, just did an outstanding job. 517 total college acceptances of 115 students that applied. And what's so nice is when we did our presentation here at the middle school to talk to our students, what was so great was they recognize these schools, and to know that our high school students at Hawthorne High School are going to the schools that they see on TV. The national championship last night when Notre Dame and Ohio State, to see our students going to these types of schools inspires our students to want to be able to pursue that type of pathway in terms of going into a career one day. And we're very proud of this, and I'm going to turn this over because we're going to talk about STEAM, and there's nobody more excited to talk about STEAM than Ms. Pasquale, so I'm going to let her go from there.
So, good evening, everybody. It is a true privilege and honor to be standing before you today with our flourishing programs of studies. And I say flourishing because we constantly innovate, expand, and add. Basically, depending upon the survey interest that we collect from our students and our skilled teachers and their certificates. So you can actually get the interest for adding new courses, but if you don't have teachers who are actually skilled and have the certificates and willing to teach it, that program doesn't really fly. So we are constantly innovating, expanding, and adding. So what I wanted to say here is 517 colleges and 115 student acceptance, 517 acceptances amongst 115 students gives every student approximately 4.5 acceptances. So that's actually pretty good if you think about it. And it is also a tribute to what the counseling department does with our kids as well in terms of college planning. Because 4.5 is a solid number that if you want to go to college, it's not just one college, you're picking several and you're getting these acceptances. And then next, I want to talk about the NJSBA, which is the New Jersey School Board Association STEAM Tech Competition and STEAM Tech Challenge for the state of New Jersey. So our team, called the Downspout Dynamo, got second place last year, 23-24, and with an innovative project, and the project had a prototype where they collected overflow from the gutters and turned it into electricity where sustainable energy was created. So that's why the innovative project actually beat a lot of schools and became second place winner in the state of New Jersey. So they go through a lot of innovation, and this is an incredible opportunity for our seniors to go through this particular project. Now, Hawthorne High School Athletics, the fall sports, we have football, cheerleading, soccer, volleyball, tennis, marching band. We have winter sports, basketball, cheerleading, wrestling, bowling, indoor track field, and ice hockey. Now, ice hockey is a proud tryout program with Woldwick and Lakeland, where our kids actually collaborate and compete and proudly serve on the ice, representing all three communities. And then we have spring sports, baseball, softball, lacrosse, track and field, golf, and the girls flag football, which started a few years ago, and it is going strong. And please note those dates that you have to make sure for spring physicals are turned in by February 19th at Hawthorne High School and by March 19th at LMS. And now it's our clubs and extracurricular activities. Now there is a lot, like Dr. Spirito was talking about. Art club, book club, creative writing club, esports club, performing arts club, share club, jazz club, robotics, Italian, Spanish, and the Clarion, which is our school's electronic newspaper. Now I want to tell you something about the esports club. Esports club is boasting with the most enrollment numbers that we've ever seen at the Hawthorne High School students being part of that esports club at the very newly renovated room equipped with high RAM speed computers where they actually hone in on their gaming skills and teamwork skills, and they go into competitions. Actually, Dr. Spirito was part of one of those competitions where the team on a Saturday met at Hawthorne High School and they went and competed. So it is a very up-and-coming thing for all universities, colleges, and high schools, but at the very basic level that Hawthorne High School has 30-plus members and growing strong each day. So as you can see, extracurricular activities are also growing strong at Hawthorne High School, especially peer leadership and Heroes and Cool Kids, which my friend Bonnie is in charge of right here, and with the sidekicks, I think he left at the middle school, and we have the Italian Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, National Honor Society, also in place with their high membership. And then Hawthorne High School Counseling Department. Now, counselors at Hawthorne High School are amazing. They actually divide 600 students, approximately 3 groups. They serve about 200 kids. And from 504 planning to college placement planning, to scheduling, to counseling in trauma and mental health practices. Our counselors do everything for our kids, and we have a very strong counseling program and 3 counselors at Hawthorne High School. Now, the graduation requirements. This is typically what a student at Hawthorne High School should go through throughout their tenure at Hawthorne High School, totaling up to 120 by state mandates to make sure that you graduate from Hawthorne High School. So 20 credits of English, 20 credits of physical education with the health compartment, 15 credits of history, 15 credits of math, 15 credits of science, 1 year of world languages, 2, if you're a college-bound student, 2.5 credits of personal finance, 5 credits of visual and performing arts, 5 credits of practical and career arts is what you need to have under your belt to be able to be eligible for graduation. Now, there's also a passing score that is needed in what's called the NJGPA, New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. Now, if you do not fulfill that in junior year, then there's alternative pathways that are offered to the students, such as the ACTs, SATs, and some other portfolio assessments and other routes. So this is what it looks like to be a typical 9th grade high school student schedule. You're going to have your English, your math, your science, your social studies. Those are the 4 core classes that every student is going to be scheduled for, along with physical education and health component. World language, either Spanish or Italian, is what we're currently offering. And then the electives comes into place, either 5 credits of visual performing arts or 5 credits of 21st century skills, such as marketing in the 21st century. And then we have a freshman study hall. Now, that totals up to 7 times 5, 35 credits. If our students are interested to take all 8 classes, the freshman study hall could be replaced by another elective that they could take. We make sure that their interest is in the forefront, and we actually do schedule them for all 8 periods. So this is some of the 9th grade elective courses that you can read as far as what are those electives. For example, a science elective can be STEM design and process, where hands-on projects can be done in that course, where the fine and media arts are acting, musical theater, directing and producing and such. Dual enrollment courses. Now, we're very proud of our dual enrollment courses because we currently are working with 4 colleges, and those are Fairleigh Dickinson University, Seton Hall University, Passaic County Community College, and Ramapo College. Our students actually are able to grab about 30 credits for dual enrollment, where they receive college transcripts at the end of it if they successfully complete it. So I want to tell you what those are a little bit. So with Fairleigh Dickinson University, we have our science advanced placement courses, which is advanced placement biology, advanced placement environmental, advanced placement physics courses. And with Seton Hall University, we have 1 dual enrollment class. With Passaic County Community College, we're now up to 4 with pre-calculus honors, algebra 2 honors, STEM capstone, and criminal justice. And with Ramapo College, again, this is a wonderful relationship that Dr. Sprito actually helped us get this relationship with Ramapo College as far as our dual enrollment program with the future teachers, that we have a new relationship and a dual enrollment credit available for our students. And then, without further ado, it is our humanities supervisor, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Pasquale. So hopefully, but there might be some people at home and everything. My name is Ashley Smith. I'm the supervisor of humanities here at Hawthorne, which means I oversee English and social studies. I like to open up this presentation, whether I am talking to students or parents or other members of the community, that humanities is humanities for a reason. It's ultimately the study of humanity. The books we read, the historic events that we're studying, the battles, everything, it's all a means at the end of the day. It's a means to analyze how people are interacting with each other, why we think the way we do, how the past shapes the present and eventually the future. So I like to keep that in mind, and what we've done as a department over the past 3 years is we've kind of kept that as our approach, both from a curriculum writing standpoint, professional development, what we focus on in our department meetings. So as I'm going through this presentation, you'll see a common theme of interweaving those, critical thinking skills, connections with the real world, and those, the NJSLA skills, right? Those practical things that kids are going to take no matter what, whether they identify as humanities kids or STEM kids or anywhere else. But not giving up those authentic discussions and the things, the stories we love, the stuff we really, really enjoy about the humanities. We've kind of married those 2 things. This is what your core ELA trajectory would look like as a high school student at HHS. You do have to take, as Ms. Pasquale explained, 4 years of English. But what I like about what we did with ELA in arranging where the APs fall, the type of APs we offer, as well as the inclusion of a newer course in the past few years, AP Seminar, you really dive into what it means to be a strong English student, because there's a lot of layers there. When we picture the strong English student, the traditional stereotype, it's someone with their nose in a book, right, cozying up in a library. But in reality, you could be a strong English student because you're a strong writer. You could be a reader, but maybe you're not reading fiction in your spare time. Maybe you're reading news articles or articles about video games or nonfiction or memoirs. Maybe you like to write, but you don't like to write essays and literary analysis. You like to write persuasive writing or narrative writing. So we're really peeling back all that nuance and trying to tap into a variety of student strengths. So AP Seminar, for example, which you can take as early as your sophomore year, that's our earliest English AP that we offer. It's actually an interdisciplinary course. It's rather new. I can't think of how many years off the top of my head, but only a few years in for College Board compared to like AP Lit and AP Lang. And you're encouraging students through this course to demonstrate critical thinking and collaboration skills. So they are solving real world problems, presenting solutions, researching, and these problems could be in the medical field. Topics have included things like mental health in college athletes, to the ethics of a new scientific advancement. Probably AI will be a topic, I'm sure, a hot topic this year. So the topics to prepare for these presentations and these papers that they write are selected by the teacher, but then ultimately College Board gives these sources and topics, and the students come together to form their own solutions. They have to present them in a very formal way, not unlike what I'm doing up here, which is a little bit daunting sometimes for high school students, but you really, really need those public speaking skills no matter where you're going to go. Because again, it's all about interacting with people, right? Communication. So we offer honors all 4 years as well. And what you can do is, if you are like I was, and you did love the literature, and you were the kid with the book in the corner like I was, you can take those 4 years of honors English and you can jump up to AP in your senior year, AP literature, and then you're going into the symbolism and the figurative language and all that stuff that I nerd out about. But if you find yourself to be more of a writer, or you like to read nonfiction, there are options for you not only with AP Seminar, but also AP Language, where you're really analyzing how people argue. So you're reading speeches and essays that are opinions like why we should get rid of homework. My students at home will be happy about that, right? And you're analyzing what rhetorical analysis skills and strategies they're using, the tone, the word choice. So there's so much more to English than just your standard English courses. And why it gets a little crazy at the end with all those arrows is because you have so many options when you can jump into those honors and APs that tailor to your strengths, and when you can hop out. So that's kind of a nice overview. But let's say that English, you feel no matter whether you're a reader or writer, it's not your strongest suit, or you do love to write, but you kind of want the low stakes writing. You just want to write about the stuff you're interested in, right? Stuff you're passionate about. This was one of the most recent articles in the Clarion, how not to fail in your New Year's resolution, which I'm really trying not to do. Hopefully you guys are as well. Mr. Van Winkle has led our journalism program for many years. We offer journalism 1, 2, and 3, so what's great is you can literally, again, jump in, try it out, journalism 1, or if it's a passion of yours, you can take journalism 1, 2, 3 and really experience that depth, if it's something you're really considering as a career. Oh, also fulfills the 21st century requirement. Another elective we offer in English is Careers in Education and Future Teachers. They're half-year courses. They're typically, as we say, married to each other. This is also a dual enrollment course. I know that Ms. Pasquale gave an overview of that a few minutes ago. And we need teachers right now. We need people in education, good, strong, talented people in education. So this is one of those introductions that you can take to that even as early as your high school experience. And the nice thing is, it's not just about teaching, but also the other ways and roles that you can get involved in the education. If you wanted to be, say, the next Dr. Spirito one day, you also talk about administration, the superintendency, school nurse, support staff, paraprofessionals, all of that. So you get a nice overview in those courses. Switching over to social studies, we only have to take 3 years of social studies. World History, which picks up right off from where we left off at LMS in 8th grade. U.S. History 1, and then U.S. History 2. We do offer honors courses during those tracks as well. You can take AP U.S. History in place, and then I say in place, it really does overlap for U.S. 2, so it fulfills that requirement. And then when you get to your senior year, you have all these openings for electives. That's not to say that you can't take an elective earlier in that kind of schedule that Ms. Pasquale oversaw, but you're definitely free in your senior year no matter what. Here are AP options for social studies, AP Government, AP US. As I said, do you take that only your junior year? AP Psychology and AP Human Geography. So again, that theme that when we think of social studies, it really is social studies. It's not just history, right? We're getting into psychology, we're getting into human geography. And when we're taking a look at some of those APs, oops, went ahead a little bit, you're really getting a sense of how the past shapes the future, but also how, at the end of the day, individuals are shaped by the environment around us. Our teachers do a great job bringing in current events and having intense discussions about what's really going on in the world. So our social studies electives that aren't APs, but again can fit into your schedule in different ways, are the pink ones, Intro to Criminal Justice, Legal Issues, Law, Rights, and Responsibilities. I kind of lump them together because a lot of our student population is interested in a career in law enforcement. I've heard a lot of students are going on the pre-law track, so they love taking these courses. Legal Issues and Law, Rights, and Responsibilities are half-year courses. Ms. Havrick, who has actual hands-on experience in the field, she was a lawyer, which is a great opportunity for students. Teaches both of them. They typically, again, are married to each other. And then we also have, courses that are focused on, a culture that is near and dear to our hearts in terms of our population, Latin American studies, we have so many students, and I know we were just talking about the cultural night, right? Who have so much to share, and is taught by Mr. Duran, and they're doing a really great job this year, bringing in their own personal experiences in addition to following our curriculum. And what this Latin American Studies course really dives into is it takes the, the concept, the misconception that Latin America is a monolith, which means it's like one, big identity, but in reality brings in all the nuance and the diverse cultures through like exposing them to art, literature, food. So it really sees the diversity within Latin America. Kids are really enjoying that this year. Did I mention them all? I think so. I kind of didn't talk about psych. History of human behavior kind of focuses as an intro to psych. And then we have our AP as well. Students are really incorporating a lot of research that year. This curriculum for history of human behavior got rewritten recently. Mr. Hardy's doing a really good job with that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, humanities, it's about much more than books and years. And I'm really excited to see what else our department is going to bring this coming year. Thank you. I'm heading into, back to Ms. Pasquale.
Hello, everybody again. So, as she mentioned, the world languages. Does anybody want to take a guess how many different languages are spoken at our Hawthorne High School for at the moment as we stand here? 17 different languages, including all the dialects from Latin America as well as Arabic dialects. So it is an incredible expansion of our community. We have almost covered every continent that exists. So we have Moroccan, we have French, we have the people from the Philippines, we have Turkish, we have Albanian, we have entire Latin America covered, we have Syrian, we have Georgian. It's an amazing, we have Lebanese. It is an amazing opportunity for us to embrace now and right now. So that multicultural learner night that we're going to have at the elementary level will be followed up on March 7th at the high school with multicultural learner evening for academia. In other words, we are bringing all these people together, representing their cultures, languages, and their countries, so that they can learn without fear about our programs and comprehensively learn about them. So we're going to have many different institutions present to teach our community what's available at Hawthorne High School, including our program of studies, and then how to get on FAFSA, how to get on Naviance, how to apply for colleges, and Passaic County Community College representatives will be there. So we're going to embrace them as well as we can, and we're going to celebrate them. Having said that, one of the biggest things with the world languages that we're doing this year is, actually there are two. One of them is a skill of biliteracy tests. We are this year testing in 4 languages: French, Albanian, Italian, and Spanish. The junior and senior populations will be tested, and they will earn, if successfully completed, the state of New Jersey's seal of biliteracy, which then gives them the stamp of a prestigious award that takes them to college admissions as well as 21st century job skills that is sought out everywhere if you're biliteral. It's literally going to say, you're biliteral. So seal of biliteracy tests are coming up for our juniors and seniors. Every year this is going to be repeated, but this is the first year. There's 4 languages that are going to be tested. And one other thing, we are starting our first Hispanic Heritage program between middle school and high school as of next year. We are going to test some of the Hispanic Heritage kids at the middle school level with an entrance test so that we can actually skip them to Spanish 2 honors as they start Hawthorne High School, because we do realize, especially Mr. Christopher and I, when we walk through the hallways, we hear those languages. We hear them out loud, spoken. So as opposed to just being constrained to an environment where you learn the language, those languages are freely being spoken. So we want to take advantage of that. And we're going to see who can do what so that we can actually move them along and then give them opportunities like seal of biliteracy or advanced placement Spanish. So that is it for me. And now, without further ado, it is Ms. Ashen Brand with the Program of Studies in Math and Science.
All right, everyone's most favorite class. for almost last. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me or those watching at home, my name is Bonnie Ashenbrand. I'm the supervisor of math and science. The students are always very excited when I tell them at the program of study presentation that you only have to take 3 years of math and science, and then their counselors encourage them to take the 4th because we know that that is what they are looking for on their college applications and resumes. As far as our math sequence, we started having and more advanced track in 7th grade. So as students come up to the high school, they're all kind of at a different starting point. The vast majority of students are going to be starting in Algebra 1, but some of our students do begin in geometry because they took Algebra 1 when they were at the middle school. So from there, they'll continue pretty much down the middle row. That's your typical path, but there are some students that we know experience difficulty in math. And so that is why we have this Foundations of Algebra 2 course, because what we're doing is we're extending on Algebra 1 and geometry concepts to better prepare students for the NJGPA that they'll be taking in their junior year. So this is a junior year class to really hone in on some of those major skills that we want to increase their proficiency in. So that will be a new course coming in next year. It will take the place of concepts of math and be tailored more to supporting the students for their performance on NJGPA. And then after that, once they have a stronger foundation, if those students want 4th year in math, they'd be able to continue on into Algebra 2. For those that take Algebra 2 earlier, they'll either continue to pre-calculus or they can jump up to AP statistics. That can be taken either during your junior or senior year, and then ending their 4-year experience with calculus at the honors or AP level. So this was for the freshmen, we had these earmarked. Flipping over to science quickly, there are 3 required sciences for the students to take at Hawthorne High School. They begin freshman year with physics. We have switched over to having physics first. So now we're finally back teaching bio this year after a 2-year transition. That is for juniors. So we felt that by teaching physics first, number 1, we can teach physics in a very hands-on way. And really showing students that physics is not something to be afraid of. You don't need calculus to do physics. All you need is some basic algebra and a lot of real-world experiences. So I was in a physics class the other day, and the students were, rolling a marble through essentially a pool noodle is what it looks like, and they were calculating all these different gravitational potential energies and kinetic energies at different points throughout their roller coaster project. So it's very exciting for kids to be doing physics freshman year, sparking an interest in something that many kids shy away from. So after that, they'll head into chemistry and round out their 3-year experience with bio. And at any point along the way, if they're really interested in science, they can add on an AP science once they've taken that initial course. With the exception of AP Bio, we know there are some juniors who are mature enough to handle an AP level course, and so rather than taking a CP or honors level first, they can jump right into an AP level course during their junior year. But AP Environmental can start as early as sophomore year, followed by AP Physics also in sophomore year, adding in AP Chemistry junior year, so lots of opportunities, and as we mentioned earlier, these are all dual enrollment classes. So you have the potential to earn college credit through Fairleigh Dickinson with these classes. And then if a student says, I love science, but AP is just not for me at this stage in my life, that's totally fine. We have some other science electives that they can also explore. So as Ms. Smith mentioned earlier, we know we have a large body of students who are interested in criminal justice and law enforcement. So we offer 2 half-year courses in genetics and forensics. These are very, very popular courses. And then finally, we also have an elective in anatomy and physiology for those of our students who are interested in physical therapy, nursing, medicine of some sort. So that we offer junior or senior year simply because it's a better fit to have with biology simultaneously or previously. And then outside of your more typical sciences, we have our STEM program. So freshman year, students are able to take STEM process and design. But what we found is a lot of kids who were enrolling in these classes really just wanted to build stuff. And that brought to light this need for a class where we want to support kids for teaching them some skills that they can use outside the classroom, either in their careers, if they go into a trades field, or just helping out around the house. I was in this class the other day, and a student said to me, I said to the student, I was like, so what have you done in this class that you then were able to transfer at home or in your real life? And one of the students said to me, well, I fixed my AC unit. And I was like, well, that's useful. Not on a day like today, but definitely useful. So in Explorations of Careers in the Trades, this is our second year running this course. This course has grown by 100%. We had one section last year, we have 2 sections this year, and there's more enrollment than we can even really fulfill at this time. It's quite popular, so we're going to look to continue to expand that in the years to come. But the students are learning how to install drywall and how to repair small engines, all sorts of things, really practical, that'll also advance them if they want to go into a career in the trades afterwards. And then last but certainly not least, probably something I'm most proud of is our computer science program. We have such a robust program that if a student is interested in computer science and knows that coming into high school, we have enough courses to keep them learning something new in computer science over the 4 years that they attend Hawthorne High School. So beginning with robotics and app design, they then would move into learning a bunch of different computer science languages, from Java, Python programming, these languages go on and on, C++, like there's so many, and it's just an endless amount of knowledge. But to have left high school with some of these under your belt, to start college with them already well versed, is a huge advantage. And then we also have cybersecurity, which I say to the kids, this is not a course to teach you how to hack. It is a course to teach you how to prevent hacking from occurring. But it keeps them busy all 4 years and leaves them with a really, really amazingly strong resume as they go off to college. And for students who don't want to take up a spot in their schedule with the computer science course, or they're just not sure if that's for them, we have our robotics club, we have esports, and then we also participate in the Hour of Code every year, which Dr. Spirito participates in as well. Kind of showing people that coding is not as difficult as we think. It sounds terrible, but you get into it and you're like, oh, this is just like a giant puzzle. I can do this. So the students actually end up saying like, oh, this is not as bad as I thought. And then when they know what some of these starting salaries are like in computer science, they're like, oh, maybe I can do this. So I think that pretty much wraps up our math and science. I was just highlighting for our freshmen, and I will turn it back over to Mr. Kester.
Thank you. I should have prefaced by saying we may be a small school, but we offer a whole lot to our students. I just want to add to the trades class that we currently have. Not only do our students get that experience in school, but they also go on typically 2 field trips a year to technical schools. UTI, Universal Technical Institute, I believe it is what it is the most current trip coming up. So our students get that exposure, they get to go to the site, see what it's like, what those schools would be after graduation to participate in those technical schools, and that really helps bridge those gaps for those students that maybe don't want to go to college or community college but want to go straight into a technical school. And I give a nice shout out to Mr. Miller and Dr. Pfeiffer for coordinating those trips for our students, which is just great exposure, even starting as early as sophomore year and junior year. So fine and performing arts, so this is, and business as well. Like Ms. Pasquale, she gets to serve as our supervisor of world language. This is one of the things that I'm extremely proud of, to be able to supervise the fine and performing arts. As a musician in high school myself, this is something that's very special to me. So we offer quite a bit in our performing arts department, and Ms. Pasquale actually took one of my lines talking about people, right, our teachers, and what they offer to our students. And the first one being Miss Sonia. Miss Sonia, I always say, is a unicorn. She is dual certified in theater and dance. So she offers our students the opportunity to not only take a Styles of Dance 1, which was a new program that we offered a year ago, and then this year we're actually offering Style Intermediate Advanced Dance 2, with the hope of next year offering an Intermediate Advanced Dance 3, based off of the student interest. In addition to that, we also offer directing and production, musical theater, and acting. Those are really all performance-based. For students who are really interested in theater, being a part of those, whether it's on the stage or behind the scenes, but really learning the art behind how to put on a show. So some genres that our styles of dance learn, and I always encourage our student athletes. I feel like you always hear about professional athletes in the off-season working on footwork, working on different things, and it was great to see a couple of our student athletes participate this year. I know there are a couple football players who are taking Styles of Dance 1, so to see that start to grow, I can hear Ms. Pasquale laughing because she has observed it, but it definitely is something we're trying to build as an alternative pathway for our students to get some good footwork. But again, this was based off of student interest in our school. Our students, I know a lot of it's TikTok dancing, but a lot of our students are truly passionate about dancing and being a part of that. So this is something we were very excited to add and excited to see continue here at Hawthorne High School. So there are some slides here that give some specifics more into the actual courses themselves. But again, the direction, production, musical theater itself, and acting are truly the performance part. And anybody who had the opportunity to come to our spring musical last year, a lot of those students who are enrolled in these courses really were to be able to put it on full display at the show last year for Mamma Mia. It was truly amazing. Probably one of the best musicals I've ever seen at the high school level. It really was. And to know our students are getting it not only after school but also during the school and getting credit for it is truly amazing. So behind Broadway, as I said earlier, the direction and production and the acting piece is more of the performance piece. Behind Broadway kind of gives more the background, right? The actual history of it. They create actual sets. It really is the behind the scenes work that Ms. Graber provides to our students. And what's really nice about this is Ms. Graber and Ms. Sonia, they work together to provide those students the opportunity, again, to go on a field trip to see a Broadway show, which is something we've done the past 2 years, and it's something that we would like to see continue for our students, to be able to see that on the grand scale and really at the highest level. We do offer 4 years of band at the high school that students can take. Students do not have to participate in marching band, though we would love them to be a part of that. But band is a 4-year course, regardless of whether or not a student has played an instrument. As Ms. Graber says, she will welcome you. She's always looking for basses and baritones and whatnot. So for any students interested, band is always an option. Former saxophone player here, I loved it. Great experience for me, and it offers the opportunities for not only marching band, but jazz band and other avenues for our students. Course with Mr. Franklin. If you were to come to Hawthorne High School after school, I will tell you our chorus is not only during the school day, but after the school day as well. They have a Hear, Sing Now, and our students are all over different areas of the building, testing the acoustics, whether it's outside of our auditorium or in our staircases, to truly learn about the music itself and to learn how to sing in different areas. Again, Mr. Franklin being, somebody asked him today, are you a professional singer? He's like, well, yeah, kind of, I am in a band. But he is somebody that, going back to the people and our teachers and just how qualified they are, is truly something special for our students to be exposed to and to learn from. Guitar 1 and Guitar 2 act as semester courses. Guitar 1 really learning the foundations of guitar, and then Guitar 2 is really where students get to choose some type of a piece, right? If there's that song that you've always wanted to be able to play on a guitar, that's really what that second semester looks like. Ms. Graber works with our students for them to be able to achieve that goal, and obviously they are assessed along the way. But for our students who want to never touched a guitar before, but they have that one song, that's a part of what that course looks like. But again, learning the foundations of it from the beginning, and then in that second semester, truly more of an independent study and learning the songs that they truly desire. I don't know how many high schools have a rock band, but we have one. It is the coolest. It might be the coolest course that we are currently offering at our school. And Mr. Franklin, again, with not only his real-world experience, but you're seeing a lot of students that perhaps you didn't know played an instrument or they played the drums at home, and they'll be able to come into school every day and learn that teamwork, right? They're all individual musicians before they get into class, and by the end of it, they are truly a rock band. They're doing all the different decades, so they started in the 70s, they're now currently in the 80s, and then they'll go into the 90s and the 2000s for the third and fourth market period. So they are picking 2 pieces that they currently work on a daily. They work in the small independent rooms, and then they come together at the end of the class. And what I really love is just in my observation is it's a lot of self-reflection. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong do you feel in your particular piece, in terms of your responsibility for playing that song? And they reflect every single class to see how well they are adjusting to the pieces that they are assigned to be able to put on those performances. They do invite classes in the area to come watch, which is really nice, and we're hoping to do a nice concert at the end of the school year this year for more, obviously, students and faculty and families to see. So songwriting it takes a blend of not only music, but creative writing. I always like the way Ms. Graber describes it, songs are a form of poetry, right? It's a process of writing and putting that together. And songwriting, which actually came from a student survey that we had sent out regarding music courses to build that interest, songwriting was one of them. We know our students love to listen to Spotify, they love the lyrics, and it gives them that opportunity to write those particular pieces, which is really nice for our students, and it's a really great class. They also go into our technology lab where they actually do develop beats, and they've learned some of the music technology on a smaller scale, but again, it's just a really great opportunity for our kids. And then music technology with Mr. Franklin, so as you can see, varying courses in the music department that we get to offer. And what's really nice is they are doing the recording, they're doing the beat labs every single day. And not only that, they're also learning how to do podcasts and put other things together as well. The last course here is AP Music Theory. Again, what's nice is you're seeing a common trend. Those students who really do excel in a particular area, we are giving you that highest level at the end. One of the courses even earlier, just our U.S. History 1 honors class, right, starting in that sophomore year. And again, I'm sorry, I meant to interject before, but that's one of our Seton Hall dual enrollment programs that we have. So we want to get that early exposure as sophomore and junior year. But again, these are other courses, AP Music Theory being one of them, that is typically a senior course for our students who aspire to go into music, which we have seen most recently with some of our students going to Montclair State University and studying music over the past few years. And scoring 5s on the AP Music Theory, which is awesome. Testament to students and Ms. Graber. So that's just music. And now we also have culinary with Ms. Dockeray. And again, going back to what Ms. Pasquale said earlier, you know, with 17 different languages in your building comes with a lot of different interests in terms of culture and cuisine. And I will say that Ms. Dockeray has truly embraced that and brought that into her classroom. And students are learning about the different foods and the different natures that our students come from. And I truly give her a huge credit for that she has made that class so welcoming and so inclusive. And not only are students learning how to cook, but they're learning the other responsibilities inside the kitchen. It's not always you're the head chef. That's not how that works. So they do alternate roles. Sometimes you clean, and that's just what your responsibilities are that day. But it makes you appreciate when you have that opportunity to cook by also learning about the cuisines, you know, from around the world. Ms. Abaza, our broadcasting teacher who comes with that real world experience, who was in that career and then went into teaching. I tasked her when she came, I said, we need to be able to find how we can take our digital media class and put that into broadcasting, and she truly embraced it. Not only is broadcasting just TV and morning announcements, they really not only are doing that and they're doing interviews, but they're also really going into Adobe Premiere, which is what they're using at the college level. So students are learning how to Photoshop, they are learning how to edit, they're doing so much behind the scenes. It is a beautiful space, and she has just taken this, that task and that challenge essentially, and run with it. And I couldn't be more proud of what she's developed with our Broadcasting 1 and Broadcasting 2 students. And then for those students who are with her, a lot of them are continuing on to our Computer Publications and Technology class, which is a junior and senior class. They do create that yearbook, but again, it's taking those skills of Broadcasting 1 and Broadcasting 2 and really transferring it over to our Computer Publication and Technology class. So photography, again, Photoshop, those are all things that our students are certainly interested in, and it plays very well into the marketing and branding, which we know are career opportunities for students who may pursue a business degree. Our art department with Ms. Russo and Ms. Ambrosio, one of my favorite days of the year, if you ever come to the high school, is our art show. We have some fantastic, talented students it's incredible what they're able to do, and I give a huge testament to Ms. Russo and Ms. Ambrosio for truly inspiring our students. Being artists themselves, it's really incredible. And the intro to art, intermediate art, and then advanced drawing and design, studio art honors. You know, if you're a student who's passionate about art, you could take 4 years of art with 2 honors level courses in your junior and senior year. And then the 3D art is actually the ceramics and sculpture for our students who want that hands-on experience. But again, these are great courses. I encourage anybody to come out for our art show in the spring to see all our student work on display. It is truly remarkable what our students do. And last, but certainly not least, yeah, we just keep going here. It just keeps going. It's our business department. And for our teachers, you know, we have one teacher who comes to us as not only a former math teacher, but also as a former CPA, and our other teacher who was a financial advisor. So we really get the best of both worlds, and I think it shows in terms of what we offer in marketing in 21st century, business and personal law, which are offered to our freshman students as that introduction really to the business world, and then sophomore through senior year taking on entrepreneurship, introduction to accounting, which is a new course that we offered this year based off of our student voice, and then next year offering AP economics. So personal finance is a graduation requirement. It's 2.5 credits, but what's nice is we're starting to see students pursue economics as well as AP economics is what we hope, which are full year courses, but give students that business background while also meeting that graduation requirement. And for everybody at home, I'm just gonna go through here so you can stop at any point to read about the courses offered in our business department. And last but not least, and this kind of segues into our internship conversation, but we do offer sports medicine, Mr. Warner, which is a part of our PE department. But again, you know, students interested in physical therapy, occupational therapy, or becoming an athletic trainer one day, sports medicine is a great full-year course for our students, taught by Mr. Warner, who was a former athletic trainer himself. And last but not least, I just want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Spirito. This is a new partnership that we are very excited about. It is still in those developing stages. We have a meeting coming up next week? Monday, yes, Monday next week. But this partnership will allow our students in the junior and senior year to shadow and really spotlight individuals that they have an interest in the medical field. That is something we are seeing from our students, whether that be in nursing, or whether that be wanting to become a doctor, whatever that physical therapy, whatever that may be. But what's nice is there's also that opportunity on the business side of it. So if a student who may want to go into, you know, learning about what insurance is and how things are paid for and how those work, or philanthropy and how I can raise money, right? Hospitals, you know, rely on those heavy donations in order to build those programs to do that type of research. You know, students can get that exposure early on, which is something we're really proud of and really excited about. And thank you, Dr. Spirito, for really spearheading that this past year. Thank you. So next steps, like I said, we do our program of study presentations during our end of marking period assessments. It's somewhat of a unique schedule, but we do this presentation every year for our students as a reminder of what courses they can take. And just how excited we are about a lot of these courses being something that they have expressed interest in, which is what we are here for. We're here for our students. We're here to serve them and make sure that we are offering the best courses possible for them. So they will start to meet with their counselors as soon as the course recommendations are finished from our teachers by the end of this week, actually. And then they will start to meet with the counselors, the seniors rising seniors, current juniors this school year. And then we will have our incoming freshmen and then our sophomores and current freshmen. So, yes, and our program is available on our updated website, which looks beautiful, and some contact information. A lot of information, but it is really exciting. I don't know about anybody else, but this is fires me up.
Just quickly, if I could, before we get a question, I just want to comment two things. First of all, the partnership with Hackensack, right now we have 10 students, 10 seniors, 9 who have their paperwork, and I think we're still waiting for one. But it's amazing that we have 9 kids who will be partnering and completing an internship 32 hours at Hackensack this year. We do have a meeting on Monday with Nadine D'Ambrosio from the hospital. And as Mr. Pfister mentioned, now they're opening it up to the financial side as well. So people are interested in the business side of how the hospital works, not just the medical side. That's an opportunity as well. We're willing to take some of those students this year. Right? So if you want to work in accounting, or you want to work in philanthropy, as you mentioned, there's a million areas on the financial, the business side of it that we can now take advantage of as well. So there's a great opportunity. But I also just want to comment and thank the administrative team, including Dr. Trebona. These guys, as you can see, they've put a lot of work into creating all of these amazing opportunities for our kids at the high school. And I really thought it was important for you to be here tonight to share this with the board. And hopefully people are watching, and if they're not, we're going to make sure that they see it, right? We can now share this video out with our community. But I just want to thank you guys for all the work that you do, for allowing student voice. I think that's such an important piece that they're allowing for students to say, hey, we're interested in X. And as Mr. Fisher mentioned, I do that every year, and we've gotten a lot of great things out of those meetings with those student council members. So it's a great thing that they allow for that, and students to say, hey, we'd love to see this course, and then they make it become a reality, right? So just kudos to you guys for all the work that you put into this, and great work that you put into creating all these wonderful opportunities for our kids every year. So thank you guys. And again, if the board has any questions, you're welcome to ask.
I have a question and a comment. I was lucky enough to attend this presentation last year as a rising freshman parent last year. Now I have a freshman. I was so disheartened by the numbers of people that were there. I hope that more people attended this year. However, in the event that someone didn't see it firsthand, how can we, and maybe this is more of a board question, I mean, really just get this into the hands of people? I know everyone who walked in the doors last year was super impressed. They don't know what they don't know. I know people who have current high schoolers don't know. 35, 40, 50% of this is happening. I think we need to do our due diligence, even if it's sending a link to their phones. I mean, how we get this into their hands, I think becomes really a job of all of us, because it is so amazing what everyone is doing. That's my question, I guess. My comment is thank you. There's a difference between hearing and listening, and you guys are listening. And for years, I don't know if that was happening. So as a parent, as a board member, as a community member, this is amazing. When I started on this board 13 years ago, there were 6 AP classes. So that is unbelievable. As a learning consultant, on the flip side, you also make classes accessible to students who aren't on the AP side of things. So all the spectrums, I mean, it chokes me up, but really amazing things. I just wish more people were looking. So I think that, I need to figure out how, I will put, if you send links, we'll put them on social media, we do, but I just don't know how to get it into the hands of 8th grade parents who didn't go.
So that's part of tonight. So
Okay.
now that we have a recording of the presentation, we can actually clip this recording, this portion of the meeting, and share it. So that was part of, I mean, I thought it was important for the board members
Yeah.
to see this, but I also feel like this is a great opportunity for us to now to take this video and share it out any way that we want to, because now we have it in a recorded version.
It was literally the conversation I was chatting with
Yeah.
Dr. Streeter when we were sitting here, and on that thought, I only came up with one word, like while listening to you guys, was exceptional. Honestly, it was just a great job. You guys just, the way you delivered it, I just think it communicated clearly. As a parent that's, raising an LMS student now and looking to towards the future, I mean, I can't be prouder of what my daughters are potentially going to be looking to achieve, just knowing what those opportunities are today, let alone what's going to be in a couple of years. It's exceptional. It truly is. I'm so excited. I think all I kept doing is sitting here and saying, like, how social media, like, what, like, I was literally chirping. You probably didn't understand what I was saying. I was just chirping in his ear the whole time, because I'm just like, how do we plug this out there? And to that point, whether it be just a matter of taking this, like, whether we do a Nixle blast,
Right.
I don't care, but it has to get out there.
To everyone's home, and you guys aren't here regularly, but I frequently thank you guys in your absence and everyone in the community. My son is graduating. He has gotten into every school he's applied to. He's gotten a presidential scholarship. He got to sit for a full scholarship opportunity. He's in EMD. He's doing this Hackensack partnership. All of the opportunities were afforded to him because of you guys listening to what they wanted. So, I can't thank you enough, but the parents that encourage their children to do things and follow their own path, I just want to make sure all the parents know what's out there. And it, again, when you sit at the 8th grade night and you see how, like, there were not a lot of parents there last year, but everyone who went was amazed. So it's sort of like, how do we get them the information now? But, thank
So
you.
one of the things, Mrs. Goff, that we're doing on that night, 7, the uninformed parents of the multilingual learners are going to also hear about the program studies, because they do not know. They do not know what's available out there.
And I'm sure they don't.
Unless we place them in an advanced placement course, they don't even know what an advanced placement course is. So more than half of those students for the first time this year is placed in advanced placement Spanish course now. So it's an opportunity that they didn't know existed.
Right.
So all of those things that we're doing with the multicultural links and things like that, also to get the parents in, so they know a little more about what our programs
I'd just like to make a couple quick comments too, sorry to cut you off. I think the opportunities, thank you guys for presenting it, I think it was excellent. I think there's excellent opportunities that people don't know about. Based on what the board is discussing here about putting out, you know, the whole, maybe there's also a possibility of sending out little clips at a time. You know, just each department. You can put it all out, but then also, as time goes on, correct, right, different opportunities, because people like to take things in small doses. They might not get through the whole presentation if they're on their phone or something else the kids are yelling. But I also think that the opportunities, yes, numbers are increasing for college-bound students, but not everybody, not 100% is going to college. And there was several times you guys mentioned the opportunities for non-college bound students, which I think is tremendous, because we don't want anybody being left behind.
Right.
So I really do appreciate, you know, what I heard there. So thank you.
Something you just said also, when you put a video out publicly for information like this, you can timestamp it, because people are overwhelmed by so much information. So you could put, like, let's say, are you interested in math? And then a timestamp would take them to that part of the presentation. But I had a couple questions. For world languages, I know we have Italian and Spanish. You were talking about all the different languages at school. What is, other than Spanish, the other most common language, other than English and Spanish, that's used in the high school, if you know?
Arabic. So I have Albanian families, Turkish families, and Arabic families. And the problem with Arabic is they are from different countries. For example, Lebanese and Syrian are two different, and Circassian and three different dialects. And now we're Palestinian, 4 different dialects. So
right, because I know it's not Italian. We've been teaching Italian forever, so I know where you're going with this. There's a base to Italian that you can teach, whereas Arabic there is not.
So one of the other things is, one of the issues is, in the state of New Jersey, the languages that are offered are usually popular languages. For example, in a Bergen County school, you're probably going to see French being taught,
Japanese.
Right? Or Latin being taught,
right,
in some places. Or Japanese or Chinese being taught. For example, Pascack Valley teaches Chinese, which I took my world language department to Pascack Valley to see how things are done in different schools.
Right.
The issue that with the world language teachers, or in general, and Dr. Squirito will attest to this, is the fact that we're not producing teachers that are certified in the languages even that are being taught.
Well, I think the board's aware too of how hard and difficult it's been to get an Italian teacher and then to keep an Italian teacher. And we literally have an Italian teacher from Italy.
That's correct.
Right? So I understand that. That's why I was thinking if we shifted more towards our population, would it be easier to get a teacher?
So some of the things that we're doing is we are actually Hispanic Heritage Program. We've increased the number of Spanish teachers in our schools, and they're from different backgrounds. So some of them are from Spain, some of them are from the Dominican Republic,
right,
it used to be, so that they speak different dialects and their teachings are honed into their skills, which is great. But one of the things that we're doing is seal of biliteracy. So I actually asked the representatives, what languages do you offer so I can get those students at least get the seal to be biliterate. Okay. So that testing is a huge component. Right. It takes like weeks and weeks of testing, and we're starting next week. But again, they even ask, what dialect? So Albanian, there's 3 different dialects, and Albanian is being spoken. So my Albanian students want to be able to test in a certain dialect. Right. So it's all very difficult and intricate, but at the very least, we can celebrate their cultural and linguistic differences with multicultural nights that we're doing both in the elementary level and high school level, right, as well as a seal of biliteracy before we look at what other foreign language teacher that we can hire. At this point, I think it's
I know we have a huge interest in Italian. We always have. Italian club's been, I'm talking about a long time ago when I was there, but Mrs. D'Amato, Mrs. D'Amato literally ran the high school, like, Italian club was it. That was the club to be in. You know, she also bought us amazing food, so that helped. But I know it's very popular. I didn't mean to like overstep or say we need to replace it. I
No,
was just thinking,
no, totally
we
get
have
it.
so many students
do.
who struggle in English. And so obviously Spanish is probably
Growing very fast.
right.
Very fast.
That's
I
become
mean,
the new Italian
I
club.
will
Yes.
tell you this.
I agree, and I see that. So now that Italian's not as popular, maybe something else. That's all. It's just an
No,
idea.
listen, it's
Not
something to
looking for any
consider,
more
for sure.
things.
The biggest challenge, and Mrs. Pasquale said it,
Is the
is
teaching,
teachers.
teacher, yeah.
I mean, it's just, we're paying Spanish and an Italian teacher from Language Learning Network right now at the high school, because we weren't able to secure, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think the number was 7 world language certificates in the
7,
state
sir.
were awarded last year. I mean, it's just, there's just not people out there, unfortunately, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, that's why we were fortunate to find this Language Learning Network. We have one in
Right.
middle school. And,
I think that's the way a lot of places are going now, is these type of language learning
it's the
programs.
only option.
Even the other way around, English teachers going to other countries who are bilingual in order to teach. I know a couple people went to Italy because they are teaching English there. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right? But I think that's, anyway, it's just a thought.
No, but
And
it's,
then the seal of
Biliteracy.
that's different from that test that you have to take when you go to college in order to not have to take 2 years of a language. These are two different things, correct?
They are two different
Okay.
things, but the seal of New
Sounds
Jersey
similar.
biliteracy may work with colleges not having to take those tests.
Okay.
Because you are biliterate by the state's rules. So that could work for some colleges.
Because I know
that you don't have
some
to
people have to take
satisfy.
like a placement test, like do you need
Correct.
1 year or 2 years or no years because you're advanced enough,
Correct.
which saves a lot of money in the long run. Okay. I think that, oh, sorry, one more. The education class, Mr. Van Winkle's teaching, do those kids actually get to go into a classroom at some point? What, like,
future teachers.
not necessarily a high school classroom?
Future teachers.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So we offer opportunities currently for students to plan lessons and get up, but currently it's offered in that classroom, so they're doing it for their own, their peers.
Okay.
Something that we were doing actually on a different level, where teachers are visiting teachers in our PLCs and learning from each other in that way, kind of in a similar structure. What we can do is we can, in that class, get students to teach, to push in lessons in other departments and stuff like that.
Okay. So it's not geared toward elementary or early education,
Because they
or,
need that experience.
it's what?
That experience is so important. To be able to actually push in and teach a lesson.
So this class Mr. Van Winkle's teaching for future educators is not geared toward early elementary or elementary. It's a general,
It's an
what does
overview.
teaching look like, foundation type class?
They do cover, they have units that are K through 5, an overview into
Okay.
6 through 8, and then high school level as
Oh.
well.
So
Okay.
this is a new partnership that Dr. Sprito spearheaded. Dr. Fried at the Ramapo College actually offered to us for to have a field trip for those students specifically to not only explore their campus at Ramapo, but also being able to be part of a class that's taking place there as per dual enrollment. So we were gonna do that last year, but we were late for it, if you will.
Yeah, I
By the
remember.
time we had that conference. So this year, we're definitely gonna explore us going to their campus with our students who are enrolled in the dual enrollment program.
And the other thing I'll just add in is for students who do have that itch to want to teach, becoming involved with Heroes and Cool Kids is a great way to do that, because they then go into the middle school 6th grade classrooms to turnkey those lessons that they've been trained in. And we go through a process of writing out our lesson plan and who's the lead facilitator and how we deliver a presentation. So that is really a great avenue for students who don't necessarily have the space in their schedule to enroll in future teachers, but that's a program they can do 3 of their 4 years in high school.
Okay. Just in my head, we have this great inclusion preschool program. So, offering a great class like this to get some educators interested, to have them visit that class, it's kind of the best of both worlds, and it's in district, and it's something that they could possibly do, just to get them out of in the real world. But, thank you so much.
Great feedback, thank you.
Yeah, the comment I have is presentation is great and the energy, it's contagious. So keep it up. It becomes a culture. You make learning cool and something to strive for. So I wish I was back in some of those classes. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
Moving on with the agenda, we'll go to Anthony for negotiations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Negotiations recommends the following resolution. N1, whereas the Hawthorne Board of Education, where and after refers to the board, will be referred to as the board, and the Hawthorne Teachers Association, hereinafter referred to as the HTA, have negotiated a successful collective negotiations agreement, hereinafter referred to as the CNA, for the following 5 school years, starting with 2024 through 2025, and commencing with the 2028-2029 school year. And whereas the HTA has, by majority vote of its membership, ratified the CNA. Now therefore be resolved that the board hereby ratifies, approves the items of the CNA for the 5 years, starting with the 2024-2025 school year and commencing with the 2028-2029 school year, which is attached to this resolution and made part hereof. And be it further resolved that the board hereby authorizes the board president and the business administrator, board secretary, to execute on behalf of the board the CNA by and between the board and the HTA. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
I'll do it.
Roll call?
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff,
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mrs. Vega,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Abstain.
Mr. Totaro.
Abstain. Moving on to curriculum and instruction, Mrs. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, looking at curriculum instruction, recommend the following resolutions: CI 1 through CI 4 on page 4, CI 5 through CI 6 on page 5. On behalf of the committee, I so move. Second.
Seconded by Ms. Erentrout. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff,
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mrs. Vega,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro.
Yes. Personnel, Ms. Erentrout.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Committee on Personnel recommends the following resolutions: P1 and P2 on page 5, P3 through P12 on page 6, P13 through P19 on page 7. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second. Second by Mr. Carr. Discussion?
Just always like to welcome everyone new, that these pages have gone down, right? Thank goodness it's at the time of the year where it's not the beginning or the end, and we're good. So welcome to everyone who is new to our district.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Erentrout,
Yes.
Mrs. Goff,
Yes.
Ms. Mulkey Coulson,
Yes.
Mr. Palouse,
Yes.
Mrs. Vega,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Clivio,
Yes.
Mr. Totaro.
Yes. And to our Vice President for Finance and Administration.
Thank you, Mr. Totaro. Donations, we have 2 donations. A, we have acceptance of a donation of $500 from Columbia Bank as part of the Atlantic Stewardship Bank Tide Program to be used for curricular supplies of Hawthorne High School. Thank you to Columbia Bank for being a good partner to the district for some time now. B, we have acceptance of a donation of a clarinet valued at $1,608.21 from Paul Dirk as a gift to Hawthorne High School Band for student use. Thank you to Mr. Dirk for this his donation. Action items pursuant to the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Committee on Finance and Administration recommends the following resolutions. On page 8, we have F1 through F3. On page 9, we have F4, which encompasses the auditor's report, F5 through F8. And on page 10, A1 through A3. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Second by Mr. Palousse. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Ms. Erentraut.
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton.
Yes.
Mr. Palousse.
Yes.
Mrs. Vega.
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
Yes. Sorry, I'm staying on A3. Apologize.
Mr. Clivio.
Yes.
Mr. Doyle.
Yes.
Mr. Totaro.
Yes on everything, abstain on A3.
Thanks for that.
Moving on to claims, Mr. Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lucky me, I got to start out the new year perusing the bills for the month. Truly an honor and a privilege. In accordance with NJAC 6A 23-2:11B, C3, and C4, it's recommended that the board approve the bill list for the month of January 2025. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Second?
Mr. Clevio. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Smokey Colton.
Yes.
Mr. Palousse.
Yes.
Mrs. Vega.
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Clivio.
Yes.
Mr. Doyle.
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut.
Yes, with reservation, with anything regarding PCTVS.
Mr. Totaro.
Yes. All right, back to Mr. Doyle for buildings and grounds.
All right, Buildings and Grounds. Pursuant to the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Committee on Buildings and Grounds recommends the following resolutions. Bottom of page 10, we have BG1. Over on page 11, BG2 and BG3. On behalf of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Seconded by, was that Ms. Erentraut? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Smokey Colton.
Yes.
Mr. Palousse.
Yes.
Mrs. Vega.
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Mr. Clivio.
Yes.
Mr. Doyle.
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut.
Yes.
Mrs. Goff.
Yes.
Mr. Totaro.
Yes. All right, moving on to committee liaison reports, starting off with legislative report from Mr. Carr.
Nothing to report this month, Mr. President.
All right. Finance Administration, Mr. Clevio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance and Administration did not meet, but we were afforded the opportunity to meet with Dr. Spirito and with Janine today, between myself and Mr. Paterno. We went over the December report, and we have a good grasp as to where we stand as we part ways with Ms. Janine. So thank you for that opportunity, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Mr. Doyle, Buildings and Grounds and Policy, please.
Nothing to report on either front.
Moving on, Council Liaison and Personnel, Ms. Erentraut.
So nothing to really report for the council, except the next meeting is tomorrow night. And personnel, I believe Ms. Goff will be discussing the main personnel issue for the reports. Thank you.
All right, moving right along then to Mrs. Goff for Curriculum Instruction and the Superintendent Search.
Thank you, Mr. President. Curriculum instruction did not meet this month. I will be speaking about the Superintendent Search Committee. Mr. Clavijo, myself, Ms. Erentraut met, and Mr. Totaro met with one representative from NJSBA. We also reviewed two paper proposals. One was from Kathleen Hellowa. She was our previous NJSBA rep. If anybody remembers, she has gone out on her own and it now has her own educational consulting firm. A third proposal was from someone by the name offered by Assisted Insights. Mr. Paul Breda. We reviewed the 3 proposals. Kelly Mitchell, our NJSBA rep, did come in person. After a brief deliberation, we decided to go with the NJSBA package, which was what we had previously used 2 superintendents ago. Just to give you a brief highlight of what the package includes for the $7,000 fee, so that there are 4 different fee services offered. We went with the second lowest one. That was what was suggested by Ms. Mitchell herself. It provides all materials, resumes, completed applications, and related information that belongs to us, but she provides it to us. Provides legally defensible search processes, application information, training on reference checking, interviewing, and district visitation, so that the board will have the information and tools needed to make an effective decision. She helps to develop board criteria, develop an advertisement, solicit input from community and staff. She offers confidential secretarial services, receiving and preparing candidate applications, materials, responding to candidate inquiries, processing candidate status correspondences, etc. She offers consultant, they rank candidates and present a pool of candidates to the board. They also schedule candidate interviews. They consult, they develop interview questions customized to each specific search. They allow the board, they consult and assist with the board in reviewing and consensus candidates for each round of interviews. They train us on how to write the contract once we've picked the candidate. There's a transition workshop that they offer with the board on how to transition to the new superintendent. They offer ongoing support and training for the full board as well, and then they do some onboarding stuff after the new superintendent starts, and they seamlessly can weave that into both our strategic plan as well as our goals for both district and board goals. So that was what that package offers. I will provide a brief outline of timeline. So right now, this evening, we approved the contract to move forward with that. So we will begin the advertisement process as soon as possible. She provided us with a draft of an ad, and we're going to offer her our feedback on that. The ad will run roughly for 30 days. During that 30-day period, while she's accumulating the people that are submitting their applications and bringing a pool to us, she'll also be running various forums in the district. So she would be meeting, and I believe Dr. Sprito is going to help liaise, and I can also help as well, just scheduling-wise. She'd like to meet with faculty, administration, student bodies at various points. She would like to meet with parent bodies as well, via PTO meetings, etc. She has suggested we send out a link. There are pros and cons to that. She did tell us that by sending out the link, anybody, it just goes out into the world. So you don't necessarily know who's giving you the feedback, but maybe we could curtail it so that it goes out in the principal newsletters or via some sort of board means. That would be a way of soliciting other people. We've requested that the information be translatable in various languages, so we're looking into that. We've also requested that any parent forms be translatable as well, so we may have to offer as a board those services so that we can get the feedback from all the community members. So we're very excited about that piece because that was basically the largest area that we saw would be problematic for the board to get that kind of feedback. And it's very, very important to us that we have the feedback from the community about what they're looking for in a future leader. So that was a big piece of this, why we wanted to have the firm do this, because they can do it. We really can't do that. So again, the ad will run simultaneously for 30 days while she is getting this feedback from the various stakeholders, which is very important to us. Then after that, the consultant reviews the applications with non-conflicted board members. So of the 9 of us, 7 of us are non-conflicted, so the 7 of us can review that information. Then we select the applicants to go to the first round. They've suggested that be, it's a relatively large number. I feel like she told us it was like 8 to 10 applicants would be the first round. Then the second round would be 4 to 5, and then the third round would be 1 to 2. So we're looking at possibly, first round interviews being late February, early March. Second round interviews being mid-March, late March, early April. We're conducting final rounds We're a little bit behind in this, but only by about 2 weeks. By early to mid-April, we're looking at hiring and publicly approving a new superintendent with an anticipated start date of August 1st. So that's a rough timeline. We're hoping that it goes smoothly, and again, that's why we are very eager and happy that we were able to find a consultant that would work with us, and we do believe that's a very reasonable price. But there's a lot of back work that goes on that it's very time consuming. So we will set the credentials for which we're looking for, and then they make sure that these people meet all those credentials. So that's another layer that is time consuming for us, and would be great to have somebody else to do it. So Kelly Mitchell is our consultant for NJSBA, and she will be the actual person who's walking us through this. They don't send some other random person, so she's going to be our go-to person. I think that's about it. So we approve the ad, and then our 30-day window starts hopefully about tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Moving on to NJSBA and PCSBA with Mrs. Moki-Coulter.
I don't have anything for NJSBA, just the PCSBA. The next meeting is January 29th. That is virtual, and the topic is the transformative power of charter schools in New Jersey's public education. It's good for everyone, even public school members, about how charter schools work and how they can affect the public schools around them. I attended last year. It was pretty informative. And then after that, so there's no meeting in February. Where are people? Wow. Next meeting's May 28th, unless I hear something else. And that can be virtual or in person. And that will be the hybrid Spring Celebration and County Teacher of the Year Award at that meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to have CPAC and PTOs, Mr. Pools.
Thank you, Mr. President. For CPAC, I just want to remind everybody, time goes quick, just mark your calendars for May 4th. Is the 7th annual 5K walk run. And I will remind you a few more months, but please mark your calendar now so you don't overbook. The Roosevelt School PTO will be hosting or is currently hosting a Nothing Bunt Cake fundraiser. Please go to their Facebook page. There's only 2 more days remaining to make your purchases. Anyone who places an order, the school will have the orders delivered on or about February 6th, and then distribute out to the public sometime after that, soon after that. I think there's also an opportunity to have a special voucher or a separate voucher where you could actually go to the Paramus location and pick up your purchase. But again, you have to go to the Facebook page to get more details. And also with Roosevelt PTO, tomorrow is the last day for the Fun Pasta fundraiser. Moving over to Jefferson School, again, a lot of this is fundraisers. It's food related, which is right up my alley. So I enjoy reporting on this. But tomorrow, all day, is a give back fundraiser at Tasty Pizza. 15% will go back to Jefferson School. Upon pickup or delivery, please be sure to mention Jefferson School at checkout. Again, that's all day tomorrow, whether it's lunch or dinner. Then Jefferson is actually teaming up with a combo event with Lincoln Middle School on Thursday, February 13th, 6 to 9 p.m. It's $40 per person at Humdinger's, 44 East Midland Ave in Paramus. And it includes an hour of bowling, unlimited arcade, unlimited batting cages, unlimited laser maze, 2 slices of pizza, and unlimited soft drinks. Jefferson and LMS will receive 20% back for these tickets. Again, please go to Facebook to get more information. There's another combo event coming up with 3 schools. Get ready for an unforgettable experience at Hawthorne Theater on February 1st. We're thrilled to present a special matinee give back in which Washington School, Roosevelt School, and Lincoln Middle School are joining forces to bring you the event featuring a highly anticipated movie, Dog Man. This is a perfect opportunity to enjoy fantastic films supporting our community The event, again, is February 1st, 11 a.m. Doors open at 10:30. The tickets are $20. Your ticket gets you admission to see dog walking, plus popcorn and refreshment drink. For your candy lovers, unfortunately, they will be sold separately. You could go on to, again, any one of the schools, Lincoln School, Washington, or Roosevelt, to find the link, and you can purchase your tickets in advance. And then I just want to mention this one. Our student council rep, Mr. Goff, had already mentioned it, but again, I just kind of want to show this because, again, I don't know if the picture depicts how big the Adirondack chairs are, and then next to it is the fire pit, or I believe they called it the solo stove. Thank you very much. Tickets are $20 a piece. It's a $900 value. The drawing will be held at the Women's Club of Paramus on January 31st. Winner need not be present, but again, it's a fundraiser for the Hawthorne High School class of 2026. And I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to public be heard. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make comments on educational issues or school matters. No one after all that? All right, moving right along, we will do, following Mrs. Goff's format of the general comments, new business or old business. Just make sure you share what one you want to speak on, and we'll start with Mr. Blue.
I will discuss tonight's business, which I should have done during the negotiations. But I did not thank everybody, and I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody for the team effort put forth. You know, it's always a daunting task to think about going through negotiations. It could be stressful at times, but everybody on both sides was very respectful, and we were able to hash out an agreement for 5 years. So I'd like to thank, on the board side, former board member Jay Shortway for being part of the committee, our vice president, Mr. Clavijo, for being part of the committee, our business administrator, Jeanine Murray, and Dr. Spirito, along with our board attorney, who makes things so much smoother than they could be, Mr. Fogarty, so thank you for that, as well as all the HDA members and their union representatives. So again, I just want to thank everybody, and I'm glad we've done for a while. That's all.
General comments. I know Lucas is gone already, but Lucas Matthew, thank you if you're watching out there. Great job today. It's always exciting to have our students here. And thank you all for your informative report. I know we've gone over it in detail, but it was really informative. So thank you.
I would like to thank the negotiations committee. So I myself am known as conflicted because I am also in the NJEA in a different district. So I cannot participate in negotiations until it's already done. So while I think it's immensely valuable to have educators on the board, it does preclude us, myself and Erica, from actually actively engaging in parts of board business. So I'm very thankful to my non-conflicted board members for participating and taking one for the team. I'm not sad that I don't have to participate in it, but I'm very thankful that we have enough people that can participate on my behalf, and I'm happy to ratify it once it's done. And very thankful that Hawthorne teachers and administrators, people choose to stay in Hawthorne, because we know in the Wild West of education, as Dr. Spirito calls it, you could choose to be anywhere really at this point, but I'm very thankful people choose to be in Hawthorne. And I'd also like to thank Ms. Murray. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with you. We wish you luck on your next adventure. Please come back and visit us, even though I know you probably won't, but if you're ever here and want to come back and sit in a board meeting, we would happily say hi to you. But good luck to you. Thank you.
I want to, general comments. Just want to welcome Ms. Vega to the board. Welcome. Don't forget you asked for this. So. Also want to piggyback and thank the negotiations team, specifically Mr. Palouse. It is very time consuming to the negotiations. It's not, when you become a board member, you don't necessarily strive to be on the opposite side of your team teachers, so it's kind of awkward, and it is time consuming, and, you know, Mr. Palouse has stepped up to the bat every single time, and, you know, he's a great team member, so thank you for doing that. Also want to thank Ms. Goff for her 2 years of board presidency. That's also a very consuming role, it just consumes you, it's like it becomes you, you're just thinking about that.
It was 2 years as vice president, 2 years as president.
And thank you,
Not that I
Mr.
was counting.
Likewise, thank you, Mr. Totaro, for willing to step up, and thank you for that. Also, want to send Ms. Murray, thank you for everything you've done. We appreciate everything that was put on your plate, and leading us where you're at. We feel very confident for what we have on our plate as far as moving forward, so thank you for that. Last but not least, I had the opportunity of playing at the volleyball game with Dr. Scarito and some of our staff members. The Roosevelt PTO volleyball game, first time I've ever gone. It's fun, it's a good time.
Yeah, good time.
It's competitive, it's fun, the kids are having a blast, the PTOs do just a phenomenal job. I think it's a testament to the type of community that we're part of. Mr. Carr was part of it too. Yeah, sorry, he was
the enemy.
He was on the other too. The PTO actually goes all over, I mean, they go all out for it. That's personalized T-shirts and all.
Wow.
It's fun, so. So maybe next year we can get a drink for the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it was a good time, so
Good
thank
time.
you for that. That's all I have.
Just general comments, very warm welcome to our new member, Mrs. Vega, and lots of well wishes and good luck to Ms. Ginny on her new endeavors. Pleasure working with you. That's all I have.
General comments, I just want to thank the community for entrusting me in this position. It's not something I take lightly, and I'd also like to thank my fellow board members for, you know, welcoming me in and answering any of my questions and basically being so helpful in this transition, so thank you.
Mr. Carr? General comments. First and foremost, Ms. Murray, thank you so much for your time here, and we won't miss you, and good luck in your future endeavors. Welcome, Ms. Vega, to the board. You know what you're in for. And to the high school administrative staff, what an awesome presentation. Thank you so much. As a proud alumnus of Hawthorne High School, I probably would have been a doctor if I knew all these programs were here back in 1989. But, you know, I decided to go into public service in different ways. But again, it just shows the passion that you guys have for education, and we do greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was thinking like, wow, I wish I mean, we had some great programs when I was in high school, but wow, the music and art department alone, and it's just, looks amazing. Rock bands and dance classes, and yes, please. So thank you to Mr. Goff and Mr. Matthew tonight who came. I was really impressed with the Lincoln Middle School president tonight. He did a great job, and hopefully we can have him back if he'll come back. Thank you to everyone who was involved in signing a 5-year contract. That was amazing. And I'm very impressed and I'm happy it's done. Thank you to Mrs. Murray. Thank you for coming and showing us this presentation. I saw it 2 years ago, I want to say, but it's already changed and improved, and there's been so much added, so it's really exciting to see. Den days were mentioned. That's quite new. I think Mr. Matthew mentioned it, and I've only heard great things about it. My son's loving it. He was part of the one he was talking about this month, and he came home. I think that's like the one thing he tells me about, which only happens once a month. Usually it's how is school? Good, what'd you do? Nothing. But on Den days, I hear like all of it about building and how they won, and his team just listened to him a little bit more, like really into it and articulate and descriptions, and I'm like, wow, okay, great. And also just wanted to mention that the CPAC meeting for tomorrow night was moved. It is now on January 30th at 7 p.m. You do have to register because it is virtual, but I suggest all special education parents in the district to attend a CPAC meeting. It's just a great way to connect with fellow community members. If you have any questions or you just want to chat, or sometimes we have someone come and speak, and it's informative. There's all different types of meetings we have, but it's a great way to connect with fellow special education parents in the community. So that's January 30th at 7 p.m. But you can go on their Facebook page to register in advance, and then in return you'll get a link. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'll revert back to the word I used after the presentation, which was exceptional. I think this is an exceptional way to start the year, and look forward to the future. And I really appreciate everything on behalf of the supervisors and everything you brought tonight in your presentation, and as well as Mrs. Goff for her tenure as Vice President and President, and along with Mrs. Vega joining the board. And just thank yous all around, right? I think this is just encouraging to look forward to the rest of the year now. Conversely, speaking of Mrs. Murray, I want to express our deepest appreciation to you and for all your outstanding work to the Hawthorne School District as business administrator. Your dedication and expertise have been invaluable, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I just want to share a little bit more. Absolutely, and for those of you that don't know, it is truly an honor to be able to sit here and year after year be able to get these reports issued to us with such a stellar recommendation, or not really having anything to say, which in itself is an accolade to our district, right? And Mrs. Murray, who was tasked with coming in this past year and taking on the lion's share of the efforts, and still yet having a result of no issues is just, again, exceptional, right? So it goes, I year after year always share my analogy of, we balance our checkbooks at home, and imagine what it is to balance an entire school district. And we do that year after year, and just greatly appreciate all your efforts that you've done for our district. And with that, we will move into private session. Be it resolved that the Hawthorne Board of Education convenes as an executive session to discuss exempt matters pertaining to personnel. Be it further resolved that it is anticipated that executive session will be for 45 minutes in duration, and that public action may or may not be taken. Be it further resolved that the minutes of the executive session will be made available upon determination by the board that the disclosure of these minutes will not detrimentally affect any right or interest of the board, and the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Motion to go into private session.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Palooza?
Yes.
Mrs. Vega?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Cleo?
Yes.
Mr. Doyle?
Yes.
Ms. Erentraut?
Yes.
Mrs. Goff?
Yes.
Mrs. Colson?
Yes.
Mr. Totaro?
Yes.
Now I can get up.